name is Charlie Banks, and I'm a 16-year-old kid who started the Young Minds podcast to spread the word of God. And it is my goal that through this podcast, you learn, you laugh, you cry, whatever it may be. I just hope that you enjoy it and maybe grow in your relationship with Christ. But always remember that this thing that the Lord is starting is way bigger than any of us. So let's get after it. All right, welcome back to the Young Minds podcast. Today we have a very special guest for you today. The last episode I kind of talked about him a little bit, but this is my anniversary episode for my baptism. And if you could introduce yourself, please, and we'll rock straight into it.
Hey, I'm Stephen Peterson. I'm a student at Lowndes High School, and I'm honored to be here on this podcast.
Yeah. It is good to have you, man. You know, I mean, with the amount of adventures we've had, I'm sure we're going to have tons to talk about, right? Oh, yeah. Especially just today, right? You know, we'll get onto that later, but so if you could tell the podcasters or people that are listening a little about like your testimony a little bit, if you can.
Well, like Baines, because I did listen to his, I kind of always grew up in the church. It's kind of always been that thing that's just you ride with your parents, they take you to church, you go to church, you have fun, right. You do a lesson, and it's just that's pretty much the day. You just go there to learn. That's about how it was till I was about 8 or 9 years old. I don't know the exact date, but I finally turned my life over to Christ. Me and my mom had been praying about it for a little while, like personally. Yeah. Trying to figure out when I should do that. So we finally had the calling and got saved. I went and got baptized at Redland, where my family all used to go. My grandparents actually still teach Sunday school over there.
Do they? Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my first church. And I have not moved my letter from there in a long time until I went to Northside. Yeah. And it was after Charlie got baptized, I believe.
It wasn't long after that. It was maybe like a month or two after. It wasn't even that.
I think it was like maybe a week or two.
It might have been a couple weeks, It wasn't long, really. Yeah. You moved your letter there, yeah.
Yeah. And I've been going to Northside for a long time because the church that I went to after Redland was Owsley. It was growing a little bit, but then it kept like...
Yeah, it was kind of just...
It was like oscillating. It was like up and down, up and down. And they didn't have a youth group over there, so I started going to Northside. Yeah. And that was whenever my faith started to really, really grow. Yeah. Because I was around all these people that went to the same middle school as me, all these people that just were filled with the Holy Spirit. And that was kind of my, wake-up call. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And even though, there's a bunch of people now, I don't know how it was when because you've been there longer than I have, really, in retrospect, even though I've been a member longer. Yeah. So, at least now, there's a bunch of homeschool kids, right? And, but even though there's so many people that you can connect with, and, we've seen that, right, and I know Mikey, that they go to, a Christian school over in Bemis over there. There's so many they go to so many different places. I think Asa, he goes all the way from Lakeland, yeah. And, there's our... church, our members are kind of sporadic around the county, but it's crazy, because we come, my house is about 30 minutes away, but if you find the right church, you will take that extra 30 minutes out, and I've said that, countless times. We'll do anything to get the word of the Lord.
Yeah, you're good, but, definitely, but, definitely, it's been, that was crazy, I didn't really think about it, I guess, yeah. It has been it was a couple weeks. It wasn't long. I have to look back at my phone because it says the dates and everything. Yeah. I have to look at that. But, so now we're going to go into some questions here. I'm excited, okay? Ooh. So, some of these I asked Baines, and, so you'll remember them. But, what did you think of me when we first met?
I thought you had one of the biggest hearts that people do have.
Really?
Yeah, you're always checking up on people and texting people to make sure they're okay. Sometimes I don't show up to church on time, as we know.
So I'm like, hey, you good?
Yeah, he's usually blowing up my phone about sometimes every morning. Yeah. And it's good when people do that. It means that they're true friends. Yeah. And whenever I first met you, I thought you were one of these real big-hearted people that, find a good friend and they stick to them, which is what you are.
I do that. And my mom always says, and this is true, I don't just stick to the kid, I stick to the family. Like, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm big in, like, you know, interacting with the parents, whoever, and I'm, you know, like, and that's just cool to me, you know, like, I don't know, that's just something I do. Like,
especially on Facebook.
yeah, social media, bam, Facebook, yeah, like, just rocking.
Central intelligence agent.
Yeah, honestly, like keeping people informed and stuff. Like, you know, our life group, our Sunday school group, has a thing where they give updates and things like that on Facebook. I'm the one that tells Baines and Stephen what's going on when they type something in there because, well, they don't look at it much.
I'm too old for all this new technology.
Are you too old for that? I don't know. Only a few months older than me, but yeah, that means a lot. Thank you so much. But I mean, seriously, I mean, I can see that in you too. I mean, you have such a huge heart, whether you know it or not. I mean, and you may not say it, but you do. I'm serious. I mean, yeah, don't look at me like that. Yes, yes, you do. Because, I mean, seriously. Okay, just in a recent example, you know, me and Steven, we went on this trip and we went hiking. Right. Let me tell you, I will say this: the definition of my definition of extraneous and theirs is a tad different. I'll say that.
Charlie's not built for hiking.
No, I'm not. I'm not built for that type of hiking. No, and so, you know, because it was a place called Stephen's Gap, and we're going over there, and it's a cave, right? Well, that, you know, the path going to it is not exactly, well, what you say, flat. You know. Yeah,
there's a sign that says strenuous.
Yeah.
3/4 mile hike.
Yeah, and so we're going up here, and, you know, it started, you know, going all right. I would climb over certain areas. It was fine. But then I knew something was up when you and Matthew stopped. I was like, oh, no. If they stopped, we're having a problem. Like, and, yeah. And it was a good thing that you were there, because if you weren't, we'd still be, me and my mama both would be stuck in that cave still. Because, you know, I know that only some people saw the pictures, but this kid's really taking me, like, by the dang hands and just lifting me up on these rocks. Like, some of them, like, it was crazy. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. Because, I mean, hey, I did it. And I'm out. Like, I mean, you know, but it was
cool, though.
It was really cool. It was fun. Yeah, definitely.
And some of the pictures that we have, I don't know if Charlie's going to show it to everybody that's listening, but, me and Matthew climbed all the way to the bottom of the cave as far as we could.
Mm-hmm. They did, and it was. Let me tell you, those pictures are crazy. Like, you know, you see, like, there's one where your mom took it, and it's like, so you see the entrance to the cave, like the main one over there. Then you see like another hole, like maybe I think where those people can't. Yeah, the top is, and then you have me and my mom in the middle, and we're like so small compared to like everything around us. It's like we're like ants.
I know it. It's like, it's such a nice, like, straight picture that it looks like it's a background. It doesn't look real anymore.
I know, it's crazy. But how was it for you finding out when I was like, how was it when, you know, we had those conversations, right? You know, like leading. Was it a couple weeks before? Because it didn't take long for me to get.
I think it was
saved and baptized and everything.
I want to say it was about a month and a half. Before.
Because it wasn't long. I know that.
It wasn't super long.
Because see, me and Stephen, we had a bunch of conversations about, like, you know, because it kind of started from, like, the Halloween when we, you know, because, like, when you came over to my house and, like, you just started, like, talking about your faith. It was, like, that was awesome. You know, because I'd never been exposed to a kid who was sort of open about it. Like, because you don't, honestly, if you go to our school, you don't see that.
Not really.
No, you do not see that at all, you know. And if you don't grow up in church, you won't get it. You know, you won't get that type of, you know, exposure. And so that was, like, really cool to me. And I was then, you know, we had started having these conversations. I think we thought they were going to run maybe a couple minutes, maybe. No, they ran for hours.
Hours and hours.
Hours. And
there was one in particular where, so I like to drive around whenever I'm talking on the phone because it makes me feel more relaxed.
Yeah.
So we were talking, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but we just kept talking and talking. And I was driving around, just going nowhere. I had no clue where I was going. I ended up in Homerville.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. It's like, how the heck did I end up here? Like, yeah. That might have been the one where I was talking about a relative of mine. He was going through some medical problems, and you know, I was saying, like, dude, you know, like, he just really needs some prayer because, like, you know, he could die, you know, like, because he was on the verge of it. Thankfully, he's doing a lot better now, but he was like I think they said like 12 hours to dying if he would have kept going in the path he was going. So what does Stephen do? He calls me up, like, you know, as you're driving, you know, like, I think you were coming back from like
from work.
I thought it was Alsey. I think you were doing like something there, you know?
I was coming back from work.
Were you? And like he calls me and it's pitch black, it's like it's nighttime, and we just sit there on the phone for a bit and he prays for me, and that was so, again, there's that big heart right there, but there's been countless moments like that, and also just, I don't remember the exact, there was times in those conversations that we'd have where, like, if you remember, like, how I'd say something and you would connect it with a verse of some sort, like, I think I said something along the lines of, me being me, I said, like, when we get to heaven, they're going to need, like, sunglasses because we're going to be shining so bright. And then I think you brought up, like, I think it was Daniel 12:3, maybe?
Yeah, when the stars are shining brighter, I'll pull it up later. Yeah,
but I think it was Daniel 12:3 that you brought up. And so there was instances like that where if I said something like that, like maybe, something, and not really wisecracking, but, I was being serious, but, but we could connect a verse with something that I said, like, I guess, because didn't you say I could give some pretty good advice?
Yeah, and one of those was actually one that I pulled up. Yeah. It was John 15:13.
Ah, yeah.
Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends.
Yeah.
That was one that you used to share all the time.
Yeah, and I still do. I still do share that one. And, I've learned different, I guess you say, like, meanings for it. Before I thought it meant one thing, but now it makes more sense in terms of, Jesus' perspective. Mm-hmm. Think about it this way, and I've said this, I think I even said it on Baines's, like, he is your friend, and he is, like, can you just think about that? Like, he wants to be your friend, and he's laying his own life down for you. It's like, that's what, and that was, just imagine that. And also, too, I was kind of putting in this perspective of, you wouldn't want to let a friend down, would you? So you don't, like, in terms of, like, sin or whatnot,
Yeah, you could never let a friend down like that.
You don't want to let a friend down, so therefore, and Jesus is your friend, so you don't want to let him down, right?
No.
Exactly.
Of course not.
So, and, that's a great verse. And there's probably, like, so many interpretations, or many, like, different trails you can go with it, because, that's why the Bible is living and breathing, because there's so many different things. You could read a verse one day, and it's, says, oh, I can, pull that out of it, and the next day you can pull something else out of it.
Absolutely.
Let's see. So, okay, so when I told you I was being baptized, what was your first, I'm assuming you were excited, but, like, what was going through your head? Like,
I don't know, like, pure joy, I guess.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've been praying for a long time that I would be able to help somebody, like, bring them to Jesus so Jesus could be able to save them from hell. You know? Because that's an amazing thing. That's something that everybody should be able to experience, is whenever they play a part in somebody else's, helping them get saved.
Right.
That was pure joy. Because that was, like, years and years of prayer that just finally came to, is it fruition? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've said that, like, I've been praying about it, right? And, and I don't know, and of course, there's people that I can think of that comes to mind, but also I'm thinking at the same time, why am I disregarding my mom in that way? Because, what I'm saying? Because I made that decision, she made the same decision as well. Mm-hmm. So, partly because of me making that decision, she did as well. So, it's like, I don't know why I don't think of that when, because, I did play a role in that. Like, the Lord allowed me to play that role in helping her rededicate herself. So,
exactly. It was the ripple effect that most Sunday school teachers bring up in their lessons. It's where one person affects another person's life, and then that person affects another person's life. Mm-hmm. It goes and goes and goes.
And now, we have no idea how many people are going to get affected by this.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, what I love about this so much is that, I don't know, I know where the places is going to, but I don't know the exact numbers of, like, like, where it's going, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Who's exactly watching it or listening to it. So it's cool because we won't know exactly what all this effect has had until we get to heaven.
Exactly.
So, like, we won't know. And that's just so cool because, like, the countries that I've been able to, because it shows you that, where the countries has gone to, it's insane. Like, Mexico, Papua New Guinea, wherever the heck that is. I can't even say it right. And some other places. And that's just beyond what I could ever imagine for it. But, yeah, this was, I loved asking Baines this one. So, remember, just think back to that day when I was baptized, right? So, what did you think when Pastor Randy, remember what he did? that day. You remember what he did?
I have no clue.
So, he asked me to point at both of you when,
Oh.
I was like, he was like, can you, what did you, like, because I remember, for me, and I've said this countless times, I have a mental picture of, so, like, I can, I'm thinking about it right now, like, I can remember, like, me standing up there, and then I'm looking down at you two, and I'm just smiling, like, the biggest grin on my face.
Oh, yeah.
And not to mention, I've looked back at the pictures my uncles took, and, like, there was, like, the big old TV screen smiled, like, my face is up on that big old screen.
Pearly whites.
I don't know if they were that pearly, but...
They were pretty pearly.
But, like, that was so awesome, though. Just, just for y'all to be there, too. I mean...
Yeah, we were there to witness.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you were. And, like, that meant so much. And also, too, there's so many rooms back in Northside I didn't know existed until then.
Oh, yeah, it's a maze.
Like, it is a complete maze. I still, even a year in being there, I still had to ask people, I'm like, where do I go? Like, because, I mean, plus they're adding new expansions, like, it feels like every couple months now. So, we're not going to be able to know where to go.
Oh,
No. I mean,
No.
we're going to be like, where the heck do I need to go?
It's gonna be funny trying to get to that new room that they want to build.
Oh gosh, well, I don't think it'd be too bad because we'll already know the upstairs. If they don't change that, then
But I mean, like, trying to figure out like what all the rooms are for us.
Yeah.
For our Sunday school group.
Yeah, true. It's like, where the heck do we go? It's like, Mr. Brandon, where you at?
Uncle Brandy.
Yeah, Uncle Brandy. Oh, so and you have like countless. You've had countless jobs over the last couple months. Well, you've you've had one consistent one, and then you've kind of bounced around a couple more.
Well, more or less bounce around. It's more like whenever somebody needs my help, they'll call me and I'll work for them for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, help me, Stephen.
I've worked consistently. I've worked at Agri Supply for I think close to 8 or 9 months now.
Yeah.
And then my mom started her bee business, so I've been helping her do that off and on whenever she needs my help, and she doesn't put on the Saturday that I work.
And she'll also enlist other people.
Yes,
me,
she will. There's
Russell.
There's Russell. There's Mr. Mike Fountain, Pastor Mike Fountain. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, and
she gets a lot of people.
Like, it was the day before we were going on vacation. We were putting bee boxes together.
Yeah.
We're over here putting these together. I'm just doing my thing, whatnot. A dang bee decides to sting me right in the back of the neck. Like, come on. Like, and like the actual sting itself didn't really hurt, because I had probably the Benadryl and the ice pack. But like the initial just like sting was like, ow!
I bet that was itching for weeks too.
It didn't actually.
Really?
Mm-mm. It didn't itch.
I got stung 3 times in my back and I didn't stop scratching.
You're like, I'm so itchy. Yeah, but yeah, it didn't do. It didn't do all that, thankfully. I'm kind of glad it didn't. I'd be like, I'd be like a dog, just like scratching the back of my neck.
Yeah. And then I've worked for my uncle too.
Yeah.
With his taxidermy business, and that was fun for a little while.
How long did you do that for? It felt maybe about a month at the most.
I thought it was maybe 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
I know I put in a lot of work for him.
Yeah.
Well, probably not a lot of work in the long run, but I did spend a lot of time, and he's been mainly getting me to do some construction work for him because he's hoping to expand. But yeah.
I mean, fun. And that's some good experience too. Even though you got to mess with some weird looking animal insides.
Stuff,
yeah. Ew. I mean, I can just imagine, because our Sunday school teacher, Mr. Brandon, and sorry, Mr. Brandon, you're probably going to listen to this and be like, what the heck, why are you exposing me like this? But he's got a deer butt in his garage. And that was, because we had a little social with all of us to get together at their house, and we go to the garage, and there it is, just right there, right in the center of the garage.
Oh, yeah.
And, in terms of, with all the jobs and everything, what do you hope, and also college as well, what do you hope that God's going to do, in the future for you when it comes to, college and other jobs and...
Well, I have my plan, I have his plan. So I'm just going to let it work itself out.
Yeah.
Because the more I try and figure out what his plan is, the more I know I'm going to get in the way.
Yeah, it's like Pastor Avi said, sometimes you just got to get out the way.
Yeah, because you're just hindering.
Exactly. I mean...
And I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, you're not that guy. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, Pat. No. But, so... Now we're going to go into some questions about, the youth today, and I've gotten some different answers. Because I've asked some of the same questions to everybody, but I've gotten some different answers from everybody.
I think I should be worried.
And, no, you're good. And, about being baptized, okay? So, when you look at our youth today, Do you see hope? Or are you worried about the future?
Well, I know Bain said both, but it's more of a either-or kind of question.
Yeah.
I'd say with the rate that Northside is growing, I'd say I'd see hope.
Yeah.
Because you said that there's like 170 kids within the last month?
I wouldn't say kids, but it was just people. Like,
170 people.
I mean, and there was but there was a lot of youth in that. Honestly, the majority of baptisms, besides the Bible conference, because there was a lot of adults then.
Yeah.
But besides the Bible conference, like with D Now and all that, it was mostly kids. I'm just being honest. There was, which is awesome.
I see hope anyway, because like I've always been taught this lesson at some of my older churches, where it's like, as long as your church is growing, that means the Holy Spirit is moving.
Yeah.
If your church is not growing, then something is wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I've always been taught. That's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find verses for that later, but that is one of the most truthful things to me, because I've seen it in action. I've lived through it.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to be in a church that's not growing.
No.
Because Holy Spirit's not moving, you're not going to get fed. Your spirit will... Your fire will die out.
Exactly. And one thing that just... for me, is like... There's so many people, right, that are... Especially our youth and whoever else, right? That aren't a part of, like, what Northside's doing. That's just, my example. But I'm sure there's plenty of churches that are like Northside right now that are growing, But, like... It's like, why would you not want to be a part of something like this? Because it's so awesome.
And the thing about that, though, is like, you can be growing and have the Holy Spirit, but the whole point of being able to grow is to be able to, like, expand out, like, reach out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are growing, the Holy Spirit is moving, but if you're not reaching out, then you're not using the blessing of more people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say I see hope, but I think that we should not just stay where we're at.
No. Because
I don't think we should be a bubble in the middle of the city. I think we should
expand
be
out.
the river.
Yeah, because there's plenty of with our school, like, I know, of course, there's a whole like separated church and state and all that, and it kind of bugs me a little bit because of like, my gosh, I would dang, I know FCA it is a great program that they have. I love it. I just wish it would be either one, maybe more than once a week, or maybe do other programs that are linked to FCA, but like like FCA like expansion type stuff. Like
I think FCA should do like mission trip kind of things, like around the school, or have like interviews with people, like
get their thoughts and then figure out like
get
what
people
they can do.
that don't come to FCA, because I know there are a lot of people that pass through the doors and all that kind of stuff. I think that instead of staying in our room with our shut doors and everything, I think we should branch out a little bit and like talk to people that don't normally come into FCA.
Yeah, definitely, and just figure out like what their, I guess you could say, issue with like either the church or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So then you could help them maybe rectify it.
Pray
for them about it, or
pray about it, something like that.
Because there's there's a lot more people, I think, at least for our youth, because they say at Northside all the time, we're the ones that can reach other youth, and that's true. We're the best at doing that. They talk about like, there's certain issues and whatnot they have, and like, trust me, I'm more than likely, we've thought the same thing. You know what I'm saying? At some point, like whatever it is, because we're all young people, like. So I'm sure we've thought the same thing. It's just, and one thing I have noticed is that a lot of them are pretty open to hearing what you have to say. Whether they take it in or not, that's one thing, but they will listen to you. You just, that's from my experience for now, until somebody comes up to me and starts screaming in my face. But
or you mention one word, Jesus, and they just start yelling at you, calling you a bigot, or other words that we're not allowed to say.
Exactly. And I pray that doesn't happen to any of us. But the likely, I don't want to say likely. It's likely, but it's getting more increasing, like more and more and more,
Yeah, but the fact that we are sharing it with them at all is good thing.
It's good,
because,
yeah.
Matthew 15:18 says, "But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defines a person."
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we are speaking to them about Jesus at all is really nice. It is their own free will choice given by God that they should choose to accept or deny.
Exactly.
If they deny, there is the eternal consequence. But if they accept, amazing.
Yep.
That means we get to talk to them more. That means we get to share with them more.
Mm-hmm. And even though it's like, you're like, come on, accept it sometimes in your brain. It's like, we can't do that, But even though in our brain we're like, come on.
Be the fisherman. Come on, take the bait.
Come on, hop in the net. Come on. That's, yeah. That's true. It is. And, when it comes to, like, sharing the gospel, too, it's not easy. It's really not.
It's never
depending
easy.
on the person. And sometimes, and I've used this example a couple times already, that sometimes you got to get creative. What I mean by that
you do have to get creative.
is, like, a friend of mine, and you know him, but I'm not going to mention his name here, but
a friend of mine. Remain nameless.
Yes. But I was, trying to figure out how, because I felt like I should, share the gospel with him, but I was like, how am I going to do this? Because the way the class is structured, you're either in groups or you're always with somebody, or like, you know what I'm saying? There's never time to just pull somebody to the side and say, because, like, I was not about to, like, preach to the entire classroom, so,
Well, we don't discourage that.
No, I know, no, we don't, but, I mean, I wasn't going to.
You just gotta be ready for some people who will not accept it.
Exactly.
With curse words.
Yeah, and whatever else. Yeah.
Yes.
But, I was trying to figure out how can I do that, and thankfully, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I could literally sit here and video myself talking and then send it to him. And that's what I did.
That's perfect.
And it's just funny. Even Baines was like, hey, can you send me that video? I need a guideline because I don't want to, because he was like, he told me, because he wanted to share it with somebody, and he said, like, I don't want to be so direct, like, because he was saying, like, I don't want to just be like, you're going to hell, like, like, but, yeah, that was, and honestly, and it really will, honestly, it'll make you feel good, I promise, even if they, receive it or not. It's like you did something for the Lord, and you did something for that person.
And you showed what's in your heart, too.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And, one thing that's hard to, and I'm sure it's hard for everybody, at least that goes to school and everything, is to live out the Christian walk and then be at, like, school, like, you know what I'm saying? Because,
yes.
like, because you want to, it's weird because, like, you don't want to fit in, but also you somewhat do, if that makes sense. You want
to talk the talk and walk the walk.
Yeah, and you can't really do both. It's kind of hard to.
Sometimes it is hard to, because you'll get suppressed, or you'll get that weird thing from the administrators where it's like you can't have, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
you want to help me out here?
I'll tell you one thing. If an administrator ever did say something to me about that, if I was ever talking the gospel to somebody, whatever, I know who to go to. Dr. Faircloth.
Ooh, bring out the big guns.
Yeah, exactly. He's an administrator at our school, but he also goes to our church as well. Really nice guy.
Strong Christian guy, too.
Yes, he
Very
is.
Strong.
Yep, and his son might be coming on a little bit in a couple months. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe.
But let me tell you, these kids that I'm interviewing, they're all so busy all the time. It's, like, hard to grab them, Like, man, y'all got some crazy schedules.
Yeah.
And I thought I did, but no, I ain't got a crazy schedule. No. I mean, seriously.
Not yet.
Not yet. No. I mean, if I get a job at Northside, yeah, that's when it'll get crazy.
That'd be cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be such a cool job.
I mean, and me and Baines were talking about that a little bit. We were like, he was thinking the same thing a little bit. I was like, I'm honestly, whatever I did, even if it was working in the media thing and I was put on the rotation, whatever, I wouldn't really care. I would just want to do something,
Yeah. Give thanks in all circumstances.
Yep, because I would just... because I know all three of us, we love it there. I know we do. And I've said it before. I don't know, and maybe it is the same way, with, like, having a long day at work or whatever. But,
yeah.
Like, if, say, as in a scenario, and this may be how it's been sometimes, like, it's been a long day at work, right? And you're probably maybe just kind of agitated, frustrated, in a mood maybe, right? Mm. But then it's a Wednesday night, right? And you get to go to Northside. And then, for me at least, I just do a complete 180.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm just like... because I'll be having kind of I don't know, one of those teenage angst moods, just kind of, like, just not feeling it, and...
You're just in a blah mood.
I don't think I am. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I'm just, yeah, exactly, I'm just kind of in a blah mood, and then Northside, whoop, complete 180 because of the people,
Because it's hard to be in a place of happiness whenever you're so depressed or mad or whatever it is. It's like, it's such a... Northside gives off its own feeling.
It does.
It just radiates.
And that's, that's why it'd be one of the places I'd be willing to work for, because they're, they're so positive about how they, spread the gospel. But also, they are very firm about it, too. They're, like, positive, but they're very firm about it, too.
They are grounded in their faith.
They are, definitely. And, that's one thing that I'm so thankful for, with all the pastors, and I've talked to a lot of them on here, and they are, like, just so, you can just like feel their heart, just radio, every time they speak.
Oh yeah.
Especially Pastor Robbie, and even just everybody, like with Noah, with Miss Laura. I mean, Miss Laura was great. She did a wonderful job. Just because that was a unique one to go through, because she's the pastor's wife. Because a lot of people hear the view of the pastor, but not the pastor's wife. She kind of. I'm not going to say she sits on the sidelines, because I know Miss Laura does not do that. She has a very awesome role. But some, that's what they think happens. Oh no, not at Northside. It doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. She does a wonderful job at what she does.
She is an incredibly active member at Northside.
She is, and she's kind of like, everybody has their their crutch, right? And they are a team. Like you can tell. Like that was one thing that she said in her interview. She was like, when we decided to move to Northside, like they are a unit. They are a team together. And that is so good to see, because my mom was saying it, and this is so true. It's like when we look at them, it's like you just see hope radiate off of them. Mm-hmm. You're like, man, they're just, and you just get so happy too. Like when Pastor Robbie gets all riled up, it's like,
he waits to say amen, and somebody says, and he's like, "Thank you, brother."
It's like, thank you. It's like, yeah, or like Fred Luter, like brother from another mother.
Oh yeah,
thank you, brothers and sisters. Yeah, but. Okay, so, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but why do you think when young people, or anybody really, but especially young people, why do you think when they hear the name Jesus, they just run away, they tune it out,
I'd probably say because of how culture is.
Yeah.
I don't want to
it's not the norm.
Culture, but we have kind of developed as a culture that people who are intolerant of others, not really intolerant, but like non-accepting of others, should not be like a major role and should not have their own opinions.
Yeah.
Like if you don't agree with me, then you won't have an opinion. I'll make sure of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that kind of plays a big part in it, because everybody wants to be somebody. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd probably say.
I mean,
I don't know.
Could like I would say also too, social media probably plays a big role in it.
Very much, because how they say how the Constitution says free speech.
Yeah.
That's only for the government, and since social media is privately owned, then they have a way of getting around that.
Yep.
So if you start spreading something they don't like, then they can shut you down.
Yeah, and that is crazy. Like
that's insane.
Like I mean, I'm so thankful that me and everybody else that does a Christian podcast has not been. I mean, we're not too terribly bigger at the moment, but like if it ever does get bigger, which we all pray it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like. There, could be scrutiny, right? And it's like, I don't put it out on YouTube or anything yet, because, I mean, who knows, it might in the future, but, that's when you start getting your, if you put it on YouTube or whatnot, because people look at that all the time, and, like, because a lot of times you put it on YouTube, there's a lot of, like, with the you face cams and all that stuff, because I've done a few of those, and they're fun, because you actually get to see the person, but they're not as fun as, like, face to face like this.
Face to face is easier.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you can play off the person and whatnot. But, and even with like another example, like with social media, like TikTok. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And yeah, I've played around with the idea, and I'm praying about it. Like if I should go back and just do biblical content, right? Because there's a space for it. Now, I just it'd be, and like, do I really want to subject myself to, the scrutiny of it,
to the comment section.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm just being completely honest. Like, do I, because I've had a few people just in the videos I used to make, like, bicker back and forth, and
they nag on you and stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm like, do I really want to deal with that again? Like, that's the reason why I made the podcast, was to kind of fill that, because I love to make stuff for people and whatnot and encourage them. I just, I needed like a different thing other than that, because it was kind of like. I was having burnout.
I mean, I would say though, like, people who do scrutinize and stuff like that, they really just don't have anything better to do. They just can't find something else positive in life. But I would say that if you want to go back and do TikTok stuff like that, just go ahead and do it. Yeah. Don't worry about the comment section.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really just would not worry about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
There will always be somebody to oppose you. No matter what point you stand on, there will always be that one or two people that oppose you and are so stubborn that they will not be open-minded to what you're trying to say.
And that's a shame though. It's like, why can't we just all hear each other out?
It's a crying shame, yeah.
Like even if there's somebody that I don't agree with, I would try to at least hear where they're coming from, and then maybe help them out. Like,
yeah.
Trust me, there's some stuff that I hear, I'm like, oh my.
How could you think that?
How could you think that? But, like, you know, I'm not going to straight up say that, you know, to them or whatnot.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Because we're not called to judge other people. We're called to help acknowledge other people.
Although that is sometimes hard for people. I mean, I'm not going to say that's
Very
not that.
true.
That is not, you know, I'm not saying that's not hard for me because, you know, it is sometimes. Like, when you're in school or whatnot and you see somebody and you're like, what in the world are they, is so-and-so wearing or whatnot, you know?
Yeah,
and all
like,
that.
how is that allowed?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, don't they have a dress code?
Yeah.
My brother got dress coded because his shorts were above 3 inches above the knee or whatever it is. He got dress coded, but some other girls over here wearing some pleated skirt that doesn't hide nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't hide nothing.
Right. I mean, you know, so, and, you know, and there's stuff like that you just kind of have to just take a breather and just be like, okay, yep, that doesn't make much sense, but you know what? Hey, you know, we'll go along with it, right?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so, yeah, that's just one thing that Pastor Robbie often, he touches on it a pretty good bit. You know, we don't often, I mean, as far as I know, we don't see it as much in Northside, because, you know, Northside's, you know, like, again, we've described it, you know, such a positive environment, but, you know, there's a lot of people that they get saved, whatnot, and then they don't follow in obedience, and they don't get baptized. You know, why do you think that is?
I'd probably say out of fear.
Out of fear?
Yes, because, I remember when I got baptized, I was scared to death.
Really?
Yes. Because I don't like being up there in front of all these people, especially Northside, with the many hundreds of people, I guess. I'd probably say a couple hundred people are there. But with all the people that are just sitting there and staring at only you, with the spotlight only on you, I mean, that'll get your heart racing pretty quick.
Believe it or not, I actually wasn't too terribly... I mean, I felt a little awkward. Yeah. But, like, I wasn't, like... I wasn't.
That's
like,
where the joy's supposed to take over. It's supposed to be like only joy and maybe just a tad of fear.
Yeah, like, you know, but it was, and I've said this a couple times, but it's so funny. Like, you know, because you know how the choir sits up right by, you know, the baptism bar. They're all looking up at me, and it's like, and it was so funny because I was thinking of like that meme. It's like, who are you people? Like, you know, because again, I didn't know who half of them were, and it was so funny. Like, because they were just looking at me. You know, but thankfully there was nobody sitting over there where y'all were sitting at, because I don't know why the middle section and that other section gets put up first, and then that one on the, you know.
Yeah, I really don't know why that is, but I like sitting on the left side. I've sat on the left side my whole life.
Yeah, so. I
really don't know why. I just always sat there. Hey. It just feels right.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I was able to find you easier because, like, I didn't have to, like, search. I was like, there they are, right there.
There.
Yeah, and I didn't know he was going to do that either. He was like, where are they at? And I'm like, down there. But,
just tears running down your eyes.
I mean, honestly, yeah. But, like, it was so funny because, I mean, I remember we told him, like, a little bit, you know, beforehand. You know, because remember when he said, like, a little bit of my story and all that stuff. And it's like, he barely even knew me, but, like, he's, like, gets Pastor Randy, when I'm talking about him, he gets, like, so jovial. It's funny. Have you noticed that?
I have noticed
like,
that.
He'll get, like, it, you know, it's so funny to me, and because I know it's probably just because I was the first person he baptized there at Northside, but, you know, because it cracks me up. Like, I remember even telling him, yeah, you know, a year's coming up, and he was like, what? No! Like, he was, like, so shocked, and I was like, yep, it's happening, and he just couldn't believe it. You know, and we've done countless interviews in the senior suite for the pastors and all that, and I'm so thankful he allows me to use that area right there. Plus, it's so nice.
I still haven't been in there.
You've not been in there? I'm just gonna have to take you in there. You know, he wouldn't care.
Well, I'm not a senior.
Who cares? Well, you know, we're gonna be a technical high school senior next year. So.
Yeah, but I mean, did we retire? Or we have gray hair? Well, Matthew has gray hair.
He did
have gray hair.
Yeah, and we're gonna have gray hair from all the stress we're gonna get. I'm not joking.
Maybe Baines.
Yeah.
Sorry, Baines.
No. Yeah.
What about you? Why would you think the question that you asked about why do you think they don't follow in obedience with baptism?
You know, either if it was fear or just. I don't know, maybe, you know, I mean, one thing that's kind of crossed my mind was, have they been told? You know, some church, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know it's the next step. And so they think, well, I'm saved, I'm good, you know, like, there's nothing else, you know? Because, you know, a lot of times, and it's just a fact, like, even when you get saved, you generally don't start diving into the Word like a bunch beforehand. I mean, you just, you read more and grow more as you're, you know what I'm saying? Because that continues to start your walk.
Yeah, that's the baby food.
Right.
It's like after you start in your new life with Christ, you're on the baby food. Then you move up to the
full meal. Yeah.
The full meal. Yeah.
And Pastor Avi, speaking of that, actually that was his sermon in Hebrews. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so, I mean, that's true. I mean, there's just like some people just they're not informed, and thankfully Northside does a great job of informing people about that. But I think that's just another thing too. It's like, so that's what you have to do next. Yeah. And even that one thing I didn't consider, because I think it was during the Bible conference. You were in the kids blitz for that. But
yeah,
a lot of people, it was during, I can't remember the guy's name, but a lot of people actually got rebaptized because they had done it reverse, and that's not the believer's way. You know what I'm saying? They got baptized and then saved. Okay. Yeah, and so they, so they went and rebaptized, and it was so crazy because we had so many. We had like 11 people, like really? On Sunday, something like that.
Wow. That's awesome.
We had one this morning.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We haven't gone we've only gone a couple services, and then bam, there's another one.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, but I mean, it's just been such a joy. But yeah, that's what I would say is, just like they are not informed, and there's probably some other factors that go in there too. There's probably, I don't know, many factors that go in there, and there might be own personal things that may have happened in the future. Like, nope, don't want to do it, and who knows? Yeah. It just depends on from person to person. Mm-hmm. But one thing that they kind of teach on or touch on with youth and everything, but I mean just with anybody, is, and I can attest to this, is, many people after getting saved and baptized have a spiritual high, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like they just feel like they can, like they're just like so in their faith, like they're just like, they feel like so good,
they have the fire in their soul.
Right, yeah. Exactly. So after because it doesn't last forever,
No.
So what would you say to others, that they're like, when they have to rely on their faith afterwards, like how would you say, this is what you have to do to kind of keep yourself grounded and, you know what I'm saying? Like
what keeps them grounded?
Right. Well, it's kind of like that, but I'm just saying because again, that spiritual high is not going to be there forever, and you can't rely on that. So once you rely on your faith to keep from slipping, like what's some things that you think they could do to, keep their faith steady and just, obviously read your Bible, but other things like that.
So the one that helped me get my fire back, because I went through a period of pretty deep dark. When my dad passed away, that was pretty tough. I didn't think about it at the time, but as I started realizing more and more of what really happened to him, I kind of went down a dark path. But I would say what really helped me out was fellowship.
Yeah,
fellowship is my biggest second wind.
It's so
amazing.
It's crucial. I mean, it really is.
Yes, talking to other Christians and fellowshipping with them, sharing Christ, the Word, verses, praying with them. That is one of my strongest things that I believe would be able to help Christians out.
And like we said earlier, with those conversations we had, they were probably some of the most crucial conversations I've ever had with a person. Mm-hmm. Because they were just so good and they were just so informative. And with, and they were just honestly, we were joking around like we were doing like now, but I mean, in that there was just, it was just so good to have them because I'd never had that before. But yeah, that is key. I mean, really, I think it is.
I think it is key. To me, that is my personal second wind.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and just in fellowshipping. Also, one thing that just gets me going too is just singing, bro. I love to sing. I know some people don't as much.
I don't like
to
sing,
but I do. I do. If you look over there, I'm honestly, there's been a few times where I thought I was going to jump on the dang stage and just start.
Oh yeah, Charlie's over here boogieing down.
Oh yeah, but
he's getting groovy with it.
Getting groovy, man. Yeah, but I mean, there's it varies from person to person, what helps them, but definitely, it's. I mean, you just kind of have to find what keep you going, and there's plenty of things that just make sure you don't stumble on the wrong thing.
And that's the good thing about it. It's for Christians, there really is no wrong thing. It's if you read your Bible and maybe that's not that's not what your strength, your fire strengthening thing is, your lighter fluid for your soul. it helps you out. It grows your faith. It doesn't matter what you choose, but some of them do seem like they help you out more.
Right.
Like fellowship helps me out more. Singing helps you out more, or worship in general.
I mean, like, honestly, all of that helps me. It's just like, I would say fellowship and like worship are like.
As humans who like to
kind of like
stuff,
this, like they're kind of just like tied together, you know. Because I love both. Like, I mean, I like talking, duh. So you know, so but so I mean, for me, it's kind of tied like together. But you know, for anybody listening, you just kind of have to find that thing that in the church that can keep that fire lit. You know, whether it be like you said, with talking with somebody or singing, whatever, Just find it,
because when that fire dies out, it's going to be a little while.
And
it takes a lot of work to get that sucker lit again.
And there may be a few times there might be times where it feels like it's dim, but it's still there. I promise.
Yes, it is definitely still there. The fact that I've been told this because whenever my fire started to die out after my dad, I went to one of my very good friends, Josh Johnson, and he was telling me about like. The fact that I even brought it up and noticed that my fire was dying out was like...
It's still there,
yeah. That it was still there, was the fact that it is still there. And that really kind of helped me grow even more because I realized that it hasn't completely gone out, I just haven't been feeding it like I should.
Right. I mean, and since you brought it up, I know that had to affect you in a pretty... because when you were how old on the...
It happened when I was in 5th grade, so
5th grade?
10 or 11.
10 or 11, yeah. And I'm just saying, like, with, even though he's not been around, to see how, dude, you are pretty much a full-blown adult. Honestly, all the stuff that I've seen you do, like, it blows my mind. Even though he wasn't there, you've had plenty of people to guide you along the way, whether it be your grandparents or your mom, or, heck, your brother, because, you kind of, like, I'm not saying, like... it was good. I would say it was a great thing he was there because he taught you a lot of the things, didn't he? Like, it was funny. I know your mom was saying that, he had to do a lot of lessons for things, but then you just picked it up from him.
Yeah, like swimming. Daniel had to take a lot of lessons to learn how to swim, and we were at my great-grandma's swimming pool, and he was swimming around. I just hopped in and started swimming too.
Really?
Just from watching him. Yeah.
Wow, that's
I was so lucky because they used to throw Daniel in the pool and he would like flail around a little bit.
Now that is what, I know me and Baines talked about it, and I hope we can do that again. But, we talked about how the whole swimming thing came about, lessons and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll tell you right now, dude, you have like you got like a soothing voice or something when it comes to like stuff like that.
I do not.
Yes, you do. Well, it helped me anyway, because I didn't panic as much because I was kind of shoved in like that. When I had like these survival swim classes, it didn't help me much.
It doesn't have anybody.
So, now we're kind of slowly, and they got me to the point where I'm in like the deep end with a life jacket, and I'm comfortable doing that, and then we'll work on it some more hopefully during the summer if we have time. But just to get to these final questions. So for this final one, or these final two really. So am I going crazy? No, there's only one. Okay, I'm just going nuts. It's been a long day. So, you've been through, pretty much you and Baines both have been with me for my walk through every step, pretty much. All the major steps, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Has there been anything that you've noticed or whatever that I could work on, and be honest, moving forward?
I don't think so. You seem to be growing at a pretty good rate, and you seem to really be moving up to that full meal for the soul.
Yeah.
I think you've been a pretty strong Christian since you've come about.
Yeah, it's just one thing about it's like and I don't want to let, and also I look at it as too. Yeah, sure. I'll slip up at some point, but
absolutely.
And I want it's like. It's fun to serve. It's fun to serve the Lord. You can find fun ways. Like, you don't have to be all like...
Oh, yeah. I've been told that a lot. All these people, I'll try and share it with them. They're like, see, I like Jesus and all, but, like, I just feel like I wouldn't be able to have fun in my life. It's like, there's fun.
There's plenty of
clean fun.
And me and Baines, we said this on our episode. I don't know about you, but I've had the most fun in this past year than I've had in... years.
Absolutely. Even though I was crushed at a Mario Kart party, I'm still happy.
That was
fun.
Oh yeah, that was really, really fun. Yeah. No, it was, and I'll shout out to my friend Donovan. It was so funny because I was telling him about some of the interviews that I had coming up. Mr. Brandon was brought up, and he said, "Oh, is that the Mario Kart dude?" I was like, "Yeah, that's the Mario Kart dude." Yeah, and that was so funny to me. But just kind of wrap it up. Dude, we've been on in this past year. We've done so much. I can't even. Well, I probably could remember it all, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But,
back 40 years ago.
Back 40 years ago. You remember when we did that?
That'd be you. I forgot what I had for breakfast yesterday.
But, we've done, so much, whether it be, just going to church or going to, that concert we went to. And we're going to another one.
Oh, yeah, Beach Boys. I'm ready for it.
Me too. I'm ready for it. And just, either doing this, at Banger's Pool, whatever. We've done... And I've done, there's so much stuff I wouldn't have done, if I didn't have you guys. I'm serious. There's so much stuff I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have done the stuff we did today. I wouldn't have been out. I would have gone straight home, whatever, And, quick little side story, Stephen got a flat tire.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd, save that till the end, maybe if we have enough time for it.
Yeah.
Because it cuts off an hour, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But, it was, oh boy, yeah, that was it was an interesting story. But, we got it all worked out. Plus, your grandparents saved the day, so.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did, yeah.
We didn't think we had a key to the toolbox, which has the jack and the tire iron and it had everything.
Yeah, but this boy was working, let me tell you, in his church clothes, was working it, trying to get that tire off.
I no longer have black pants, to say the least.
No, he does not. But seriously, we've had so much fun. We've had, and it's been all, clean stuff. It's not been weird or nothing like that. Yeah. It's all been, so for people who say that, no, I just can't have fun, no, you can have... It's
fun, you're just looking at it from the wrong
angle.
You
can have, I would like to say, Jesus' version of fun, or the Christ version of fun, not... the world's version, because the world's version is going to lead you down to paths you don't want to go down.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
So, and we just went to prom. That was fun.
That was so much fun.
That was so fun. Even though we are running off of Mountain Dews and whatever else, because that was yesterday. When
Mountain Dews and
this.
adrenaline.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
Yep. But, and is there anything else that we've done? Oh, what? I know there's so much more.
We've done a lot. You're asking the wrong person.
We've done, even though I got stung in the back of the neck, putting the B-boxes.
You were laughing that whole time.
I was,
You were giggly the whole time.
Yeah, I was kind of giggling during that. Trust me, the bees didn't have something special in them. I promise you, that's just me. But yeah, I just. Who knows what's going to happen next, really? I don't know, because, shoot. Yeah. Who knows? And we also, that trivia for my party and stuff, that was blast.
Fun, too. And all of that was clean, too.
It was, all of it. All of it was. So with all of us, with us saying all of that, you can't have clean fun. I don't know why people don't think you can.
And just about every fun thing that we've done, we've also acknowledged God. We brought him in some way or another. He's always been there for every fun thing that we've done.
Mm-hmm. Every bit. Exactly. Whether it be at Northside or whatever, and we have a blast at Northside, I'll tell you that. But whether it be at Northside or concerts or whatever, God's been there in every little bit. And it's just been a complete blast. And I know that because. And it was so funny. Me and Baines were talking about it, how, because y'all knew each other. What class was it?
AP Gov.
AP Government?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny how we were both sitting at that table, and then Baines comes over there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember you from that club, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then
he's like, Charlie!
Yeah, and I was like,
he's like, Steven!
I was like, oh my gosh!
Baines.
But, now, it's crazy. Because the three of us, we've probably done more together than I could even imagine. I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah. Three amigos.
Yeah, seriously, we're kind of as you put it, the founding members of the group kind of type deal.
Oh, yeah. We are the founding members.
Yeah, the founding fathers of the group.
Mm-hmm.
But, we really, truly have a blast. But is there any, words of encouragement you might have for others, for me, for whoever,
Well, speaking of somebody who's about to go to college and go through all that new adult life stuff.
Ew.
One verse that I've been looking at for a little while is Proverbs 3:6.
Yeah.
In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths.
Yeah. I've read that and it kind of tongue twisted me a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird, it's a different kind of language. But I really love that verse because it makes me not have to worry about the future. It makes me kind of live day to day, acknowledging everything that he's done for me. It's much easier to live that way than to stress about the future.
Yep, and there's obviously a reason, we may not know it quite yet, but there's a reason why you had a flat tire today. I don't know what it was, but there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out. I mean, who knows? Maybe it was just for us to have a laugh. I don't know.
It will be made known.
Yeah. Exactly. And I hope this podcast will go far. I'm sure it will,
I know it will.
Oh, I know it will because we know who's going to share it, and it won't be me. It'll be your mother.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, there's a lot of people that listen to it. They're going to... Remember, it's the ripple effect. We're just starting it here, and it's going to ripple out somewhere else.
But I know how she is. That's what I'm saying. I just know I just know how she'll be like...
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Her and her Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
You and your Facebook.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But you kids and your technology.
These meddling kids. But, for anybody, for anybody that's coming on in the future, what would you say to them? Like, any advice for them?
Live life for God, and everything will be much easier. That sounds extremely simple, but it's one of those. It's one of those pieces of wisdom where it's like it's so simple that it works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Right.
It's like, it's like whenever somebody old tells you, enjoy your life while you still got it.
Yeah.
It's simple like that,
but it works.
Once you grow up and experience it, you really seem to know what it means.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh. It's kind of like that quote from The Office that Andy gives. I don't know the exact one, but it's like he's talking about, I wish, somebody would tell you about the good old days. And,
How do you know, I wish somebody would tell you about the good old days while you're in them until you know the good old days when you leave them.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's been an honor having you on, and who knows, I don't know what the Lord may do. He may bring you and Baines on at the same time. I don't know.
Maybe. That'd be a fun match.
That'd be chaos, I'll tell you that much. But, you never know. So,
yeah, but never know.
Yep. Well, it's been a blast having you on, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I enjoy it.
Yep.
It's an honor and a privilege.
Yes, you sound like a Chick-fil-A worker.
Oh, yeah.
My pleasure.
My pleasure. That's what it is.
All right, man. See ya. And with that, another episode of the Young Minds Podcast comes to a close. Always remember, you are never alone, and faith is action. So let's get out there.